is going on, guys? Jack here and welcome to your daily news update for Football Manager 2014 for today, the 28th of August 2013. So, let's get straight into the new features that have been announced today, starting off with more realistic fan reaction to losses against superior opposition. So this comes down to your fan confidence. You know, if you go on your job security area and you go to your fans and they kind of tell you about the past 5 or 6 results and the fans' opinions on these. Basically, sometimes when you lose to huge teams, the fans get really upset. So say you're Boreham Wood and you lose to Manchester City 12-0 in the FA Cup first round, the fans are like, they've had enough, whereas in reality, maybe 12-0 they would be like that, but say 5-0, they wouldn't be as downbeat as sometimes it's reflected in game. So that's a nice little addition, and well kind of received improvement, at least in my eyes, as I did experience some similar problems like that whilst at FC United. We also have the news that one news story is generated if multiple players withdraw from an international squad. So much like some of the streamlining stuff I talked about yesterday, essentially if in your inbox you get a news message saying 3 players have been withdrawn from international duty, rather than getting the 3 messages, it's all streamlined and those get compacted into one message, and so your inbox isn't full with 20 messages. Instead it's 5 messages, and within each one is all the content that would have been in the previous 20 messages. So again, a really nice feature, something long overdue, but still a nice addition nevertheless. The next one relates back to the MLS, and I talked about this a few days ago about the MLS and how there's so much that FM doesn't do to keep the MLS realistic, because the MLS is such a unique league. It has so many unique features and rules about it that not all of them have properly been implemented into FM, and today it was announced that the MLS first round draft picks will ask for either a senior or SEL contract. So my understanding of these is, and I'm no MLS expert, is that the senior contract is a standard player contract that contributes towards the player wage cap, and the SLL contract is like a senior contract except it doesn't relate to your overall wage cap. Now, I may be wrong there. If you're an MLS fan and you know about this stuff, please leave it in the comments for me to see and for everyone else to see. I tried to do some research, but the MLS has complicated rules. No one really seems to know what's happening. Who knows, I might be able to bring you guys an update in tomorrow's video about that if I found out anything more about this. There's also a screenshot on screen that you can see. Interesting thing to note is the fact it says a fan's response to the transfer is included in the kind of player joining the squad. So that's an interesting one. So it looks like when you sign a player on the signing in message where it tells you, you've successfully signed them, as well as kind of the general news story, you're also going to be able to kind of see stuff like the fans' reaction to that signing in your inbox, which is a nice little feature. Another new thing relates to press conferences. Something that I talked a little bit about yesterday was press conferences and how I wanted to see more questions being added to kind of mean that you're not getting asked the same questions again and again and again. And they've announced that there are going to be new questions relating to a chairman's ambition for a club when any requests are rejected. So yesterday I talked a bit about how stadium requests, there'd be questions relating to that. It looks like this is going to kind of link back to any request now. So if you request a new transfer budget or an increase to the wage budget, for example, and it doesn't get granted, there'll be questions relating to that. There's also the news that full access to shortlists will be available regardless of which team you manage or if you're unemployed. Now, I've never noticed any restrictions with this. For example, in the Usain Bolt experiment I uploaded earlier on today, I had Usain Bolt added to my shortlist even though I was unemployed. I've never noticed any restrictions with the shortlist. When you're unemployed, anything I couldn't do that I wanted to do. That doesn't mean that isn't the case, but I'm really not sure what this kind of announcement means. I mean, if you've come across any problems, again, leave them down in the comments and try and clear this up for me, because it just seems like this is maybe a bit of a nothing inclusion and one of those 1,000 features that they go on about that isn't of any real significance. I may be completely wrong there. That's my interpretation of it. Again, as I said, if you don't know, or if you do know what this could mean, or you have any ideas yourself about any of the features I talk about, leave them down below. Today's final feature is to do with Streamlined continental qualification seeding news and stories. Again, linking back to the news articles that you receive in your inbox, essentially compressing them all down. I mean, this has been announced for so many things now. I'm really not sure if this counts as a new feature. It's nice to know that kind of messages will be grouped together, so instead of getting 20 messages, you'll get 5 messages, and each message has a lot more information, so it's a lot easier to have them categorized in many ways. But basically, this relates back to during continental draws, which is a nice addition, don't get me wrong, but again, I don't see the overall impact of this. But one thing I am noticing about these daily updates is, whilst none of the features are kind of revolutionising and kind of changing the way that you're going to play FM, they're all adding a nice little bit to the game. And if you have 1,000 little features, they quickly add up, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that I guess when you get your teeth into FM, you notice it a lot more, kind of these new little features. But anyway, guys, that is the update for today, the 28th of August. Some interesting announcements there. Let me know what you make of them down in the description, in the comments. If you have any other ideas for stuff that you'd like to see added in FM14, leave it down below as well. You know, share your ideas with other people. Let's get some discussion going down in the comments. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel if you're new around here. And other than that, guys, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.